Ashton Kutcher is stepping down as the chairman of Thorn, the anti-sex abuse organization he founded in 2009 alongside his then-wife, Demi Moore. The move comes after the actor and his wife, Mila Kunis, received backlash for their letters of support for Danny Masterson, who was convicted of raping 2 women. On Friday, the organization announced the change in their leadership in a statement released to Access Hollywood that reads, quote, "Today we are sharing that Ashton Kutcher, our co-founder, will be resigning from his role as board chair at Thorn, effective immediately. This decision is rooted in the recognition of recent events and ensuring Thorn remains focused on its mission to build technology to defend children from sexual abuse." Thorn also shared the letter Ashton sent to the board on Thursday, which reads, quote, "After my wife and I spent several days of listening, personal reflection, learning, and conversations with survivors and the employees and leadership at Thorn, I have determined the responsible thing for me to do is resign as chairman of the board effective immediately. I cannot allow my error in judgment to distract from our efforts and the children we serve," he wrote, adding, "As you know, I have worked for 15 years to fight for people who are sexually exploited. Victims of sexual abuse have been historically silenced, and the character statement I submitted is yet another painful instance of questioning victims who are brave enough to share their experiences. This is precisely what we have all worked to reverse over the last decade. The mission must always be the priority, and I want to offer my heartfelt apology to all victims of sexual violence and everyone at Thorn who I hurt by what I did. And to the broader advocacy community, I am deeply sorry. I remain proud of what we have accomplished in the past decade and will continue to support Thorn's work. Thank you for your tireless advocacy and dedication to this cause." Ashton's decision to step down comes weeks after it was revealed that he, Mila, and several other notable actors wrote letters in support of Danny during the sentencing part of his trial. The A-list couple has since apologized for the, quote, "pain that has been caused by the character letters" in a video shared on Instagram.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or reach homicize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
Our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse, or rape.
Access Hollywood has been covering the case for years, from Danny's arrest in 2020 to Ashton and Mila's letters to the judge. Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher showed their support for Danny Masterson in letters written to the judge in his sexual assault trial, according to court documents obtained by Access Hollywood. The A-list couple starred in That 70s Show with Masterson from 1998 to 2006. Kutcher then went on to star with Masterson in Netflix show The Ranch. In their letters to the judge, both Kunis and Kutcher vouch for Masterson's character, with Kutcher calling him a, quote, role model, and Kunis writing he has, quote, exceptional character. In her letter, Kunis writes in part, quote, "One of the most remarkable aspects of Danny's character is his unwavering commitment to discouraging the use of drugs. His influence on me in this regard has been invaluable. In an industry where the pressures and temptations of substance abuse can be overwhelming, Danny played a pivotal role in guiding me away from such destructive paths," adding later on in her letter, quote, "In conclusion, I wholeheartedly vouch for Danny Masterson's exceptional character and the tremendous positive influence he has had on me and the people around him. His dedication to leading a drug-free life and the genuine care he extends to others make him an outstanding role model and friend." Kutcher echoed similar sentiments in his letter to the judge, writing in part, quote, "As a role model, Danny has consistently been an excellent one. I attribute not falling into the typical Hollywood life of drugs directly to Danny. Any time that we were to meet someone or interact with someone who was on drugs or did drugs, he made it clear that that wouldn't be a good person to be friends with. And for me, that was an implication that if I were to do drugs, he wouldn't want to be friends with me, which is something I would never want to risk or jeopardize. I am grateful to him for that positive peer pressure. Adding later in his letter, quote, "While I'm aware that the judgment has been cast as guilty on 2 counts of rape by force, and the victims have a great desire for justice, I hope that my testament to his character is taken into consideration in sentencing. I do not believe he is an ongoing harm to society, and having his daughter raised without a present father would be a territorial injustice in and of itself. Thank you for taking the time to read this." Masterson's wife, Bijou Phillips, as well as fellow actors Billy Baldwin, Ethan Suplee, Giovanni Ribisi, and Deborah Jo Rupp also wrote letters to the judge in support of Masterson. On Thursday, the former That 70s Show star was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison after being convicted on 2 of 3 counts of rape in May, according to NBC News. As Access Hollywood previously reported, the jurors were deadlocked on a 3rd count and spent 7 days deliberating over 2 weeks. The charges against Masterson stem from alleged sexual assaults committed against 3 different accusers at the actor's Hollywood Hills home between 2001 and 2003. Masterson's accusers spoke out during the hearing, with one reportedly calling him, quote, "a true coward and heartless monster," and another saying that she is still grappling with her trauma. Masterson did not take the stand in the trial and did not speak at Thursday's hearing. He has consistently denied the allegations against him since his 2020 arrest. In December, the jury in his first trial failed to reach a verdict and the judge declared a mistrial. All 3 accusers met Masterson through the Church of Scientology, of which he is still a member. The church has denied the women's claims that they were discouraged to report the allegations to police. In addition to the women Masterson was charged and convicted of raping, 2 more accusers testified in the retrial per NBC News. Following the sentencing, District Attorney Reinhold Mueller spoke to the press about the case.
I've gotten to know the victims in this case quite well over the years, and I can tell you they're strong. We're committed to making sure that justice gets served, and today they got it. The judge imposed a sentence, an aggregate sentence of 30 years to life, which we believe is the appropriate sentence in this case. And based on certain case law that the judge cited, as well as the manner in which these offenses were committed, she found justification for the fact that these sentences needed to be run consecutively for a total of 30 to life. And that was the right decision. I have to say that I'm extremely proud of the named victims in this case for coming forward, for enduring the long time that it took to get to justice today. But I was so happy to see them in court when they were able to get up there, give their impact statements, and have their voices be heard, and to be able to express themselves on the significance and the impact that the crimes had upon them. It was wonderful to see, and this is a day for them. This is a moment for them, and I'm just very pleased.
Sean Hawley, co-counsel for Masterson, also weighed in on the sentencing, releasing a statement that reads in part, quote, "The errors which occurred in this case are substantial and unfortunately led to verdicts which are not supported by the evidence. And though we have great respect for the jury in this case and for our system of justice overall, sometimes they get it wrong, and that's what happened here. Mr. Masterson did not commit the crimes for which he has been convicted, and we, and the appellate lawyers, the best and brightest in the country, are confident that these convictions will be overturned."